So, new Arsenal, gentlemen. Matt?
Not a lot really changed, did it? In fact, I think that it's not just the style of play that perhaps might be altered a little bit by Unai Emery, but I think it's important that he changes the mentality there at Arsenal, and there wasn't any evidence
Peter
of that.
Drury said, I think being kind, but work in progress. Did you see any work that may have taken place on what we saw today from the team that Arsene Wenger left?
Not really. I think there was a frailty in confidence from the back end of last year. Things were going wrong in different areas, and obviously the departure of Wenger was probably a part of that. It was sidetracked, and it was just the season needed to end. But you'd hope for a bit of rejuvenation from them at the start of the season. They know the task they're up against. They're up against the Premier League champions, big occasion, and they didn't really turn up, did they? And I didn't see a change of the character or the personality of the team today, which surprised me a little bit, because I thought new manager might have, even in this short amount of time, been able to instil that.
If Wenger had been in charge today, what sort of reaction do you think he would have got from that? Well, those that were left at the end.
Arsenal had 22 years there. They had a great time. I thought it got a bit stale, right? I thought it got a bit stale with the crowd, everything about Arsenal. What I expected today was something refreshing, desire, determination, energy, because it's a new regime. He hasn't had time. You might have played well today. You might have played well. They might have gelled together well. But then I didn't see anything. I didn't see no desire, determination, energy. There was nothing there for Arsenal fans to take hold of. And the way they tried to play out from the back, I like the principle, but they weren't good enough to do it against the top side like that. So I was very disappointed in the Arsenal today. Really disappointed.
I think if we look at Manchester City and say, OK, what did they have? They had 5 gears to go to as a football team today. I think they might have got at the 3rd gear a couple of times. That's how comfortable it was. Yeah. What did I see from Arsenal that I haven't seen in the last 18 months? Nothing. Nothing. I expected to see more zip about the play, more pace about the play, a little bit more intensity maybe. I know it's early, and that's why, like I said about United, I'm reluctant to be overly critical now, because it's day one, and they've only had a little season, and a lot of the players have been away. So I'm kind of hedging my genuine thoughts, Richard, until we have our first break, when we've seen the teams play 3 or 4 games. And then I think it's fair then to assess them. On today's performance, like I said about United on Friday, if United don't get any better than that, they haven't got a hope of winning the league. If they don't get any better than that, Arsenal, then they haven't got a hope of getting top 4. Right?
Top 4?
I agree with you, but
top 4, they haven't got a hope.
6.
Like I said,
they might not get top 6.
And
because I didn't see anything. Sorry, Pierre, but I look at people, and you talk about mentality, and you're right about sometimes a manager's there too long, he can't inspire players. They've heard it the same. Yeah. It's the same voice day after day after day. And we've all been there, we manage it maybe. But I thought when I looked at it, and I hate to mention him because he's been battered from pillar to post most of the summer, Mesut Ozil, right? But I have to, because if ever there was a player that you thought, with a new coach in, you would see a bit of life in him, right? And a spark, and a difference, it was him. And I didn't. Mkhitaryan might as well be sitting here with Reedy. He might as well have been. I didn't see a change in their mentality and their attitude, and I thought I would. Now, you can play badly, really badly, that's fine. But what was your attitude like? What was your mentality like? The attitude looked exactly the same as it was when Arsene was getting hammered. If Arsene Wenger had been charged, asked Rudy a question, what would he have got? They'd have booed him off the pitch today, if it had been Arsene.
Well, there was no one there to boo.
But they would have already. They would have booed him off the pitch if it had been Arsene Wenger in charge. So I'm not going to... Unai Emery needs a bit of time. They all need time. All these new coaches into this league need time, right? But on today's performance, they're way off.
Andy, I agree he needs time, but do you need time to have energy, to run, to chase, you know, as a team, just a bit of passion? All 60-odd thousand come every week, all their money. Go and have a go. You might play bad. And by the way,
you see the example? I'm going to say something. We're talking about him. Look, young Guendouzi, who the 19-year-old kid from a second division in France, Lorient, right? Went on that pitch today, and he might not have been at his best. He might have made a couple of mistakes, and he might have made a few errors, but the kid never stopped working, never stopped. That's why he kept him on. They're taking Xhaka off, an experienced international who's played hundreds of games for. They're taking him off and leaving the kid on in his Premier League debut against Manchester City. Why? Because he at least was putting himself about.
One of the criticisms of the Wenger team was there were no leaders. And I'm listening to you, and you're actually making me think, well, come on.
Yeah.
Just with what you're saying. Yeah. Did you see any of that on the pitch?
Well, I'll tell you what, no. And I'll tell you what I'd have done. When Czech's passing it to Mustafi and he's getting caught on it, if I'm going, hey, get it up there and we're up the park. We'll sort it out with the gaffer at half-time. Now, I'm from a different era, and Andy played with me, and I was like that. But no, to answer your question, no one got hold of it, no one... But do the modern-day players do that? Do they keep looking to the bench?
They don't. They look to the bench really more
this guy did it on the park as well, not because he's here. And this fella certainly did.
But the problems that Arsenal have had, notoriously over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, if you want, they haven't been addressed on that line up there. I mean, Guendouzi, fair play to him. He gave it his all. He was loose in possession at times. As Andy says, he stuck at it. Give him some credit for that. But him and Xhaka, they couldn't control the game there. And also, again, going back to the character of the team, people have said what they need is a strong, steely, defensive-minded midfielder in there. And they haven't got that. They haven't got that protection. They're lightweight, they're flimsy, aren't they? And that hasn't changed on today's performance. The likes of Mkhitaryan, Ozil, good when in possession.
Aubameyang.
Did you fancy them? Yeah, it didn't feature much, did he? They need possession of the ball. They're not players who want to go chasing Mendy and Kyle Walker back. And that steal is not in the Arsenal team.
We'll continue the conversation in just a moment. Here's something else that hasn't changed yet. The Arsenal goalkeeper, Peter Cech.
Thanks for talking to us. You're welcome.
I'm not sure if that's the party line or he genuinely believes that, but unless I've missed something, Andy, didn't Arsene Wenger's teams used to like to dominate the opposition
Arsenal's
by passing
teams are always criticised for overpassing the football at times. Now, I watched Arsene Wenger for 22 years and still a passing system into Arsenal, who used to pass it through the lines quickly, when they were at their best, quickly, incisively. I didn't see them do this. I didn't see Arsene Wenger's teams do this.
But he made the point himself in the interview that we knew they were going to press high. They're pretty good at doing that. So why invite it?
I don't know. You can only ask Unai Emery that. I mean, this was... and do you know what? City were clever in a way. We said about the second half, but what City did in the second half, they made it easier for Arsenal because they backed off them. It's almost like City, we're going to go an hour and we're going to press for an hour. And we're going to get into a situation where we're winning the game. Then after that, we can sit back and then we can pick them off on the counter-attack. And that seemed to be what they had planned today, and it worked perfectly.
And he's talking pretty well, is a phrase he kept saying. We did pretty well against the champions. This is Arsenal, who should be going toe-to-toe with the champions, isn't it?
Yes.
Listen, I was involved in the team from League One in England last year in an FA Cup game.
Wigan.
Against Manchester City. All them players, majority of them players played.
We're a better team than that.
We got a result and we were a little bit lucky.
How did you get it?
Because we worked hard. Besides working hard, and they had a man sent off. They had Delph sent off. But the energy, the determination, the drive that them players showed, I didn't see too much of that.
Did you split your centre-backs and invite the press?
I've got to say no, not really. We like playing from the back, but not in terms of taking chances. If it was on to go out from the back, yes, we did. But if they were squeezing, we got it up one side and won a second ball and tried to play from there.
Yeah, that's just basics, Peter.
Thank you. Not rocket science.
You do that. If you're going to play out from the back, it has to be done quickly as well. You have to keep it, get it in his hands, get it on the floor if it's a goal kick, bang, play, before the opposition turn their backs and face your ball. But, you know, if it's done predictably and slowly, you're just setting yourself up for a fall. And you saw that. Man City weren't even setting traps.
No, they weren't.
Yeah. By that, you know, I mean, dropping off a
give
bit
it to them,
and pretending they're not looking, go on. They were actually man-marking, and Arsenal was still trying to play. I found it unbelievable at the time. And Petr Cech is there saying he is towing the party line. Sorry, and he's saying that I enjoyed it. I felt comfortable doing it. He certainly didn't look
as though he enjoyed it when he nearly stuck that one in his own net.
Nearly scored an own goal in the first half, and nearly gave Jesus an assist. You know, I mean, and listen, the good parts, I mean, when you talk about City, the 2 goals were terrific strikes, both terrific strikes. One made by himself here, Raheem Sterling, playing on this left, which is unusual for him because with Sané in the team, he normally plays the other side. But as Matt says, if he was playing this side a lot, we would like to think you see a lot more of this.
If they'd needed it, if Arsenal had got 2, PD, do you think City were capable of getting 3 and 4?
Well, momentum in games is changing, but City were by far the better team. Yeah, and Andy mentioned gears. I thought City took the foot off the pedal, to go along with the analogy, and I just thought he cruised it.
Yeah, so that's why they got a bit sloppy at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah. The bigger problems they made for themselves because they thought the game was over. They didn't think Arsenal were a threat. Goalkeeper got a bit sloppy. A couple of the defenders got a bit sloppy with the passing, and they've almost invited Arsenal back. And I bet you Guardiola would have mentioned that. Pleased as he would be with the performance and the goals, I bet you, because we know what he's like, he would be in there saying, by the way, you know, on another day, we could have cost ourselves today by just being a little sloppy.
Here's a scenario.
Go on.
I'm Neil Warnock, and I'm watching now. When I play Arsenal, what do you think I'm going to do?
I'm going to get in their faces.
Oof. By the way, you've got to be careful how you play
but
kind of football.
Not only that,
all the time.
Peter, you know, people might be watching and say, well, you know, Man City play out from the back. Yes,
Quality.
But they do because they can.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it for a long time now. And they have the players that will take the ball under pressure. I don't think any of that back 4 of Arsenal's looked comfortable when they were playing the ball around their own penalty area.
This is not bad, is it?
That's a good goal, isn't it?
I mean, whatever you say about Arsenal, when you see football like that and a finish like that, you can have 2 teams on, they won't stop that. That's just brilliant.
What I like about it as well, you see, is I don't think... See, Bernard Mendy, when he goes there, has no idea that Bernardo Silva's there. But what he knows is, if I'm a full-back, I'm tucking it back into an area.
Look at those 2 jogging back into the box, look, edge of the box. What are they thinking about?
Amazing.
But they're just not thinking about anything. This is what I'm saying. There's a desire that's not there. And this, I expected to see that from the coach. I expected to see more energy from them. And I really didn't.
They're not those sort of players, are they? You know, just to interject quickly, Peter. I mean, it's hard to change a player's mentality that he's been, you know, in the 10, 15 years previous.
I agree with you, Matt. But let's take our old club, Everton, for example, right? From what we were watching last year. And I watched the game against Wolves. We watched it yesterday, didn't we? And there was a difference in a lot of Everton players' performances. Their energy levels, the desire, their hunger, the intensity. Was at a level we didn't see often last year, or if at all.
No, right.
So, you know, you can, as a new coach, or you should expect to get a lift from players, I think.
Yeah, Mendy has made a run past Sterling to cut it back.
Yeah.
Made a forward run. Now, if you're at it, if you're defending, you've got to match that forward run. You've got to play. That's what another thing that Wigan did. When players, Manchester City forward pass and forward runs, brilliant at it. I think they get in areas. You've got to try and match it. You cannot let people run off you. And like you said, you see people jogging about while Manchester City players are sprinting into forward positions.
I think there was an occasion when I saw Ozil on a diagonal jog today. I mean,
will they get away with it, though?
Only made one.
Will the manager let them get away with it? I think Wenger did let them, and that mentality sets in. Emery's got to stamp it out sharp.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola's waiting to talk to us. Again, early days. What do we make of both?
Like both, in my opinion, right now, with the business that was done and what they achieved last year, I think they're the 2 that you have to beat right now to win the title. I think.
Just like Andy said, it's a hard first day to judge teams. But you look at the squads, you look who Manchester City bring on, who Liverpool bring on. They're the 2 squads that are going to compete.
Can I just correct you? Groups.
Yeah. Groups.
Groups. We live in a modern world, Bridget.
The groups. I do beg your pardon. The groups. Manchester City's group. And Arsenal's, not Arsenal's, Liverpool's group.
Even better when you say it.
It does, doesn't it?
Not the best start for Leicester City. Matt says he'll come back in a fortnight, by which time they'll have a new manager.
You can't say that.
That's terrible.
I'll come back when they've got a new manager.
Dennis Wise and Sam Allardyce will be with us this same time next week, but a big thanks to both Matt and Peter Reid for their company this weekend. It's been terrific. The club, Paris Saint-Germain, are playing Caen tonight at 21:30 Mecca on 6 in Arabic, 16 in French, English language with Nicky Crosby and Nigel Spackman right here. Thank you for your company. We gather again next week. Keys and Gray back Friday. Make a note.